that we have to our solar modules. So we are currently using our the biggest wafer size in the industry, the 210 mm. Then on top of that, to match with this larger cell size, we have increased number of bus bar to 12 bus bar, and also upgrade our half cut cutting method, non-destructive cutting method. So the conventional cutting method using a high temperature to create an insertion and then separate the cell by mechanical force. So there is certain I would say there's a slightly higher risk as compared to this non-destructive cutting. So with this non-destructive cutting method, which is very suitable for the large size cell, so we use a low temperature laser and slide through a cell smoothly so that the edges are smooth, and we can maintain same mechanical load capabilities as a non-cut full cell. So this is our flagship product, 670 watt, which is the highest power bin that we have now. Basically, this is the 21 series. So we have it in both the monofacial backsheet version and also the bifacial double glass version. So you can see here, low voltage, high current design. So we are able to connect more modules per string. Depending on your site conditions and the climate conditions, we can easily connect about in the range of 28 to 32. So depending on the design. So with that, actually we can get much more string power as compared to the 182 lower power bins. At the same time, if you are using the double glass module, we also give the first year 2% derogation, and annual derogation would 0.45%. Product warranty is 12 years, and the power warranty is 30 years. So as mentioned also, we have done some value assessment with third party and also with our customers to compare between using a higher power bin modules and a lower power bin module like the 182. So it is quite conclusive that in the general design guideline, if we were to select a module with higher power bin, generally we are able to get some cost savings because of the different benefits that will cascade down at the system level. So you can see here, the first most important is because of higher power bin, the number of modules used for a same size project would be reduced. So with that reduction, we'll be saving on a lot of mounting structures, DC cabling, etc. So all this will contribute to the cost savings. And at the same time, because Trina Vertex module is voltage, so we can connect more modules per string. So with that, we also save on some of the DC cable costs, and this is significant when we get it at large scale projects. So overall, because the quantity of modules is reduced, so the installation time is also reduced, and this will speed up the overall project progress. So all this will contribute lower BOS, and at the same time also we can achieve a lower LCO for your system. So this is at a large scale project basis. So we also did some comparison for a 1 megawatt CNI rooftop. So similarly, we can also get the cost savings coming from all the factors that was mentioned. So like some customers have been asking whether does this large dimension module able to fit onto the roof. So we have already started shipping, or we have some customers that have already stocked this larger size module. So namely the 2.1 by 1.3 and also the 2.3 by 1.3. So generally, before we ship the modules, we provide a comprehensive training to our customers on how to handle the modules, how to transport, how to unload from the container, and how to transfer the module onto the rooftop and eventually the final installation. So till date, we do not see any major complaints or any major issues that's happening from installation of this large dimension module. So overall, we do have a lot of very satisfied customers that is able to install this large dimension modules on the rooftop, and in turn helping them to save on the BOS costs and having the latest products on their rooftops. Okay, so I think all this we have covered yesterday, so I'll skip this part. Now, of course, on the module reliability, I mean, we recognize this is a very important factor, which is a very key concern by all the customers. So, namely, in terms of the mechanical reliability, we have done a lot of tests to ensure that everything is stable, robust, and able to operate in the field for the whole lifespan of the module. So as mentioned, these are the few extra tests that we have done. So besides our standard static tests, we have done all the other additional enhanced tests. So like the non-uniform snow load to check out when there's uneven load on the module, will there be any impact to the module integrity? And also under extreme low temperature, which is not so applicable for Philippines, but we do have countries like Japan or the US where we face extreme low temperature. Then of course we also have the kill impact test to get some kill occurrence that's happening namely from the Australian market where they get ice balls dropping sky, which is the kill. That's like size of an egg. So in certain areas, some damage has occurred to the module. So you can see this we have tested again. Standard IEC test is 25 mm. We have used 35 mm. That's how test is being done. Where the ice ball itself is hit onto the module, and after which we check the physical appearance and also a flash test to see whether impact to the power degradation. So overall, we have passed the test well within the guideline. The guideline was less than 3% power degradation, but we managed it within 0.17, 0.53%. So besides this, there's also the enhanced dynamic load, which is the DML. So we have this standard IEC test, which is a plus minus 1000 Pascal, positive and negative cycle, 3 to 7 times per minute. So we have enhanced this test requirement and did it for 20,000 cycles. So overall, we didn't see any significant damage that happened to Trina modules, and we think that the module is very robust and able to be installed different kind of scenarios. Of course, this also depends on the mounting method and also the overall system design. So as we all know, for high wind speed region, even for the array, it's not that the whole array will be subjected to a high wind speed. So normally it's only the modules at the edges of the array, means the four edge of the array will be subjected to the highest wind speed. So in that particular region, or the particular, we call it the high risk zone, then we can specially evaluate additional mounting structures to better support and increase the endurance of the module. But as we move towards the center of the array, then the impact from the wind load will be much less. So one way we look at this high wind zone is that we enforce the edges, and then as we move towards the center, we can use the standard mounting methods with minimal risk. Okay, so also this is a wind tunnel test, which is applicable for both, especially for tracker projects and also for some of the fixed tilt projects. So for this test, up to 3 meters per second, we do not see any significant damage. But once again, I need to emphasize that this really depends on the site conditions and the overall design. So we have to look at it on a side-by-side basis, and also work together with the mounting suppliers to ensure the best design for that particular site. So for the packing method, yes, we do have some customers that is wondering why we use this vertical placement method, and whether is it safe, can the workers, will there be damage to the module during transportation. So I'm happy to say that we have also passed the 3E transportation test for this packing. We have a comprehensive video to explain how to unpack, and before each shipment, we also provide targeted training to our customers and the workers on site on the proper handling transportation. So you can see on the right here, we have supplied a stand supporter. So this is for modules to lean on after you have unpacked the carton box and cut away the straps, so that the workers are able to transport the module to the actual installation site. So normal forklift are able to transport the modules. Of course, because of the height itself, we have some recommendations to secure the pallet whenever we are transporting the whole pallet on site. So this is to avoid any possible risk of the pallet falling over, or causing damage to the modules, and also most importantly prevent any injury to workers on site. So as mentioned, because of our low voltage, high current design, we do have cooperation with all the mainstream inverter companies. So these are, I think, also the brands are quite should be recognizable to everyone here. All the major brands in the market, they do have models that is compatible. But in the event if you do face any problems, you are welcome to reach out to Trina, so we can work together with you to address the problem and ensure that we have the most optimum design project. Now, of course, for large kilogram motor projects, tracker is the most popular choice now. So we have also worked with the 14 top tracker suppliers to ensure that even with a larger dimension, we have a suitable design that can be used and for your project size. So maybe let me get a chance to also demonstrate our online tool. Just let me stop sharing, and I will change this to a second. Okay, I hope you can see the now. So this is just a simple demonstration. So example, let's say we select the 670 watt, the highest power beam mode. So you can see for UT projects, we can just choose any brand. So there's a lot of brands here. So maybe you can just choose like Sungrow. Then we can do a search. You see, yes, we have a Sungrow model that is compatible. So as far as I understand, I think Sungrow also have a new inverter model, the 350 that's coming up. So over here, it will show you, a simple draft connection, 29 modules in the string, how much DC power, AC power, and maximum DC-AC ratio. Now, of course, if you want to use a 550 for, let's say, a CNI project, a CNI rooftops, then now we can choose, let's say, maybe Huawei, and you can see, we search again, and these are the different models that can be compatible to use with the Trina 550. So it will also show you roughly what is the number of modules per string, how do you connect string input, what's the DCAC ratio. So this is a rough guideline that help our customers to initial selection. So after you have completed your initial design, if there's any question, you can always contact with Huawei or contact with Trina. Then we can have a three-party discussion. Make sure we have the most optimal design for. Okay, then just to back PowerPoint slide. Yeah. So overall, since Trina started the Vertex module in early 2020, we have shipped more than 10 gigawatt worldwide and have supplied many different projects, not only in APAC region, but also in Japan, Europe, US, and Latin America. So from Trina here, we strongly believe that the 410mm ultra high power modules will be the trend going forward, and we certainly hope that our modules can bring benefits to our customers. Yeah, so just some of the studies earlier. So as you can see, despite the larger dimension, putting down a rooftop, there's definitely no problem because if you see, even the weight itself, the module is about ranging from 35 to 38 kg for the biggest one, still within the loading capabilities of the roof. If you can see a human, a normal person, let's say he weighs about 70 kilo, they are still able to work on the rooftop itself. So we don't see any big problems of installing this kind of weight modules on the roof. Now, of course, for ground mounted projects where the cost is even more stringent and LCOE, BOS, and BOS cost is of great concern to customers. So when we use a higher power beam modules, we can see cost savings coming for the different aspects. And as I think in the session yesterday, there was a lot of mention about floating PV projects, which is a big trend now happening in our region, where we see projects being developed in Singapore, in Thailand, in Vietnam, and I think Philippines is also having potential of this kind of projects for suitable sites. So, for floating projects wise, we recommend our customers to use our double glass module for the best reliability, so that we can withstand the whole lifespan the system, especially in this kind of conditions with very high humidity. So backsheet itself, we think that there's certain risk because of long-term exposure where the water might penetrate into the module and long-term cause some derogation, corrosion to the cell. But for glass module, no, there's no risk of water penetration. So that's why we recommend our customers to use the glass module for all the floating projects. So with that, that's a quick recap of what was discussed yesterday. And yeah, so if you have any question, please feel free. We can have a interactive discussion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the very detailed presentation, Mr. Lim. We certainly appreciate what you have presented just now. I have a question regarding the portal that you showed a while ago. The
Yes.
one where you were able to compare the module power and the brand's output. Is it accessible? I mean, readily accessible to everyone, or do you have to sign up to a certain platform with Trina in order to access that portal?
No, it's an open platform. So as long as you key in the URL, you can access the website.
Oh, that's very user friendly because
Yes.
with the number of developers and contractors being part of our audience, it's very important for them to be able to see if which brands would be compatible together with the the module power output that they can use with some brands. So this is really nice.
Yes, I think that that's a useful tool for our customers. But of course, if in the event that you cannot find something that you want, please don't panic first. I mean, please contact with us. No, we will work with you on a suitable solution, or what is the next best alternative that we can propose. Yeah, of course. I mean, the website itself is not 100% comprehensive because there are so many brands and so many different scenarios. We are definitely open to
Mhm.
more detailed discussion.
Yeah, because if you do it that way, then you can easily identify which brands or um, uh, which provider you would have to get in touch with in order to get your your project or your development up and running.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so yeah, again, may I encourage everyone if you have any questions or concerns or comments, anything that you would like to add that had something to do with what Mr. Lim has just presented, please feel free to raise your hands in the chat room, or you can type it in directly in the Q&A box, and I'm sure that Mr. Lim would be happy to address them live. So just a couple of questions here, Mr. Lim. Can a 600 WP plus PV be installed on rooftops as well?
Yes. Thank you, Ian, for the question. So, definitely, yes. The 600 plus watt modules can go out on the. We have already supplied to customers in the ASEAN region, namely like Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, where we have customers using the larger dimension modules on their. We don't see any high risk or any issues with using larger dimension modules on rooftops.
Okay, and this can also depend on the condition of the roofs, right?
Yes, correct. Of course, I mean, after the assessment on the roof, we can decide which is the best fit module. But considering if the conditions allows for higher weight modules, then of course, I think if we use a higher power beam modules, it will be much more beneficial to our system cost.
And what's the performance ratio of a 600 watt PV setup?
Okay, I think performance ratio wise, this is a system level parameter. So generally, it will differ a bit from site to site and on the overall system configuration. So what we can suggest is that for your particular rooftop, if you have the conditions and also the system conditions, we can try to work with you to provide a draft simulation to give so that you have a rough indication of what your PR will be. So I think in general, a system should be in the range of 80% plus minus 3% kind of thing. To that will be I would say general kind of PR that we can expect solar system.
And what would be the capacity for, I mean, per container for this type of setup, sir?
Okay, so I think even though we are using vertical packing, so we are able to load about 18 pallets into a container. So that translates to about 558 pieces. So when we multiply by the power bin itself, I think we can still easily pack almost 300 kilowatt plus into the container. So considering now, an overall pandemic situation where logistics has actually increased significantly. So I think this will also, by having higher power per container, we also help our customers to save some of the logistic costs.
I see, I see. Okay, well, while we're at it, I would like to, while we're waiting for the questions coming from our audience, I would like to give a special mention to Mr. Daniel Blanco from Terra Renewables. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us and turning your camera on. If you have any questions, comments, or anything to add to what we are discussing here, everyone, please do so. We're trying to make this as engaging and as interactive as possible. Also, a special shout out to Sir Arnold Cantaleps from Inobare. Sir, good morning. How are you? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything to add, please do so. You can raise your hand on the chat box. You can type in your questions at the Q&A box directly, and we'll be more than happy to broadcast it. From a direct power, can we get contact details for Trina Solar in the Philippines?
Yes, definitely, sir. We will type in our contact in the chat box so that you can get in touch with our Trina sales representative for the Philippine market. Thank you, sir.
Okay, awesome. And the presentation, the products, the offerings of Trina Solar you just shared with us a while ago, this is readily available in the Philippine market, right?
Yes, sir. So all the products that we have mentioned are in mass production and they are readily available to supply for the Philippine market.
Awesome. And can you share if Trina Solar has already some existing clients here in the Philippines?
Yes, I think we are working with a few major Philippine customers for the utility size project, and also with some customers on the distribution business. So I think very fast, you will be able to see some reports of our cooperation once.
Okay. So yeah, it's good to hear that you are already, not only one of the major brands in the world, but you are also experienced working with the Philippine market.
Yes. Thank you, Ian.
Okay, and since we have a good mix of developers and contractors watching us right now, for landowners, I would like to know what are the most common challenges do you encounter during the installations? That's actually my personal question. So yeah, I'm neither a developer, a contractor, but in case I would be interested, what would be the most common challenges that I would that would happen to me should I decide to go for this kind of a setup?
Okay, I think in general, most of the problems can be avoided if you have a experienced installer with a proper design in place, and with that, most of the time things will be able to run smoothly, barring any delay in the hardware itself. So with a good installer and a proper design, and once the hardware arrive on site, experienced workers that has installed before and following the proper installation guideline for the modules, for the racking, for the inverters, and checking through all the connections properly, then I think the risk of any problems happening will be very minimal.
So the assessment really plays a big role.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and what about for the for developers? What's the process for partnership between the solars or interested developers are watching right now?
I think, of course, for developers itself, the project site is a much bigger basis. So besides, from the PV system perspective itself, where they do the coordination on the project management, getting all the hardware on site, then this is on the hardware itself. Now, of course, I think for Philippine, for site condition itself on getting connection to the grid, getting the land. These are all the different commercial aspects, which we will not go into details here, but I think developers are well aware of some of the challenges on the land, connection to the grid. So there's a few different aspects which the developer has to consider for their projects.
I see. One question coming from David Evangelista. Does Trina Solar do utility scale EPC?
Yeah, so I think it has been replied by my colleague. So we do have Trina itself, we have different business needs. So for myself here, we are from the module business unit. So we are focused on the supply of solar modules to our customers. So we also have other business unit that is handling battery storage, mounting structures, um, project developments, etc., etc.
I see. And another question from one of our audience. The projects already in place in the Philippines, are they only residential or does it also available in the commercial for a commercial setup?
So I think for Trina, we have been supplying to the Philippine market for the last 4 to 5 years. So we do have a wide range of project reference, not only in the residential, also in the commercial industrial rooftops, factory rooftops, and also we have, I think, a couple of large scale ground mounted projects installed before in the Philippines.
I see. From Alan Barcoma, one of our viewers right now, we have, or they have monitored an increase in the prices of PV modules since last year. Can we expect the prices to go down anytime soon?
Okay, I think the pricing itself is quite a sensitive topic. So what I suggest is that, if for your projects enquiries, please feel free to reach out Trina sales representative. So we can work with you to give you the most competitive pricing for your projects, because the pricing also fluctuates depending on the delivery timeline and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, price is just a number, right? Okay. Do you know what factors are affecting these prices right now? In the price increases right now.
So I think no, there's a series of factors: raw material supply, logistic costs. No, everything is contributing to the volatility of the price. So no, we cannot pinpoint one single factor, but I think it's the overall economic climate that has affecting. I mean, of course, we don't see that it's only PV modules that's increasing in price. Basically, everything around us are also increasing. Oil prices are also up, so everything is up. Yeah.
Well said. Not just the PV modules, everything is increasing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but I'm confident that if you are able to reach out to the right people with the right company and the right partner, very important. This at some point could be arranged. Okay, so that's actually the last comment or concern or questions that we have from our audience. Any closing remarks, Mr. Lim?
Yeah. Thanks again, Yen, for being a good host on this breakout session, and yeah, thank you all the attendees. So no, just to yeah, reinforce again, Trina, we have all the products for your different project needs. So anything, please reach out to our sales representative for Philippines, and we'll be happy to assist you in the best possible way for your projects.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Trina Solar's our representatives are also being active in our chat box right now. So yeah, please, if you have any questions that you would like to direct to them, please don't hesitate to send them a private message. I think their contact information was already shared earlier, but if not, please don't hesitate to send me an email directly. Let me type it in right here so that should you have any questions or you missed out their contact information, I personally would be more than happy to help you guys. Okay, so my email address is ian@mycar-events.net. Okay, so yeah, and Teresa's email, their representative for the Philippines is also available. Teresa.roperez@trinasolar.com. Again, that's THERESA@trinasolar.com. It's readily available in our chat box. Again, a special shout out to our VIPs that joined us in this special breakout session, namely Aboides Power Corporation, Mr. Kenneth Cuela, Empower, Mr. Puno from team Philippines Energy Corporation, Ms. Santiago, Mr. Malaka from DMCI Homes, Christian Silabay from Bohol Solar Supply and Services, Mr. Joseph De Los Lado from Solar Pacific Energy Corporation, Mr. Rex Moria, Vivant Energy Corporation, Mr. David Evangelista. From Napocor Small Power Utilities Group, we have Mr. Larry Sabalina, there, Mr. Roel Guanyo, Robert Tomases, Tony Valdez, Jovenal Tamiroy. Thank you very much for joining us. From Dianto Renewable Energy Resources and Importer, David Flores Tiamson, their CEO. Razon's Group, Prime Infrastructure, Prime Metro Power, Johnson De La Cruz. From Tarlac Power Corporation, we have Vivencio Romero Jr., as well as Venus Romero. From Terra Renewables Holdings Incorporated, we got Daniel Blanco. From Nexif Energy Private Limited, we have Alan Barcoma. From DENR, we have engineer Alex Jimenez. He is the regional director. And last but not the least, the SMC Global Power Holdings Corporation, Terrence D. Echo. Yeah, there you go. Okay, again, thank you very much, Mr. Lim, for doing and sharing your expertise with us. I'm sure our audience already has the contact information relevant for should they wish to reach out to Trina Solar's representatives. Again, my name is Ian on behalf of MyCar Events and Trina Solar. Thank you very much for joining us in this special activity, the breakout session brought to you by Trina Solar. And please join us again later at 1:30 p.m. For the second day of the Philippine Solar PV Energy Virtual Summit. We have so much, we have prepared a very good lineup of speakers for you, so much in store, and we're looking forward to seeing you later. Okay, cheers, guys. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Thanks.